Tuesday, April 8th, 2025. Mental health is real. Seek help and the stigma. On the news this afternoon. Stakeholders react to police statement denying tear gassing Port Harcourt protesters. Amnesty International promised to ensure justice for injured protesters, journalists in Port Harcourt. Senator Ali Ndume accuses President Tinubu of flouting federal character in appointment. On the foreign scene, civil defense accuses Israeli forces of killing 19 amid continuous bombardment of Gaza. I'm Ifechuku Mwanyeli with the news. The Vice President of the Nigeria Union of Journalists South-South, Opaka Dokubo, has condemned the police statement, denying that it fired shots and tear-gassed peaceful protesters in Port Harcourt yesterday. Mr. Dokubo told our correspondent that the statement by the police is unfortunate and terrible. He challenged the police to provide the phones that they recovered from the so-called miscreants. Mr. Dokubo also reminded the police that part of their role are to protect the protesters and not intimidate them. Now, our correspondent Isoebi Oruware, who got injured while covering the protest, condemned the police statement. Another journalist, Charles Oporum, spoke on how he was assaulted by the police.
I identified myself. I even showed him my ID card. So even if you are a journalist, tell you not to protest, are you not supposed to listen to us? I said, look, I'm not protesting. I'm here to report on what is actually happening. So he kept slapping me and beating me and dragging me. He tried to force me into a bus. I looked at that bus. I said, no, I can't enter this bus because this is not a police van. I said, it's better put me in a police van. Let me know that I'm in the custody of the police. So he dragged me to the second van and pushed me inside. He tried to take my phone, but I resisted. I held my phone back. I said, no, I'm not releasing my phone to you. When I got into the van and they closed the van, it turned out that the people in the van were members of the CP monitoring units and they know me.
Also, the coordinator of the Take It Back nationwide protest in Rivers State, Amaya King, says he sustained wounds when security forces dispersed the protesters.
We came out peacefully this morning to express our grievances as Rivers people, and while moving we are like 200 kilometers away from the convergence point when police started shooting live ammunition at us and I was shot at. I'm on my way to the hospital now to receive treatment.
He's having an internal injury there. There's an internal injury.
We are asking the government, the federal government, to repeal the Cybercrime Act and to reinstate the elected governor of Rivers State. The Rivers people cannot continue to live without a government.
Another protester, Chetam Wala, also spoke.
We must all realize that we're all Nigerians. Nobody is more Nigerian than the other. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not more Nigerian than any of us. He's only privileged to be our president. And he cannot lead us in dictatorship. Every other person can actually be consumed by whatever they are doing, but we refuse to be consumed by it. We condemn what has happened today in Rivers State. And when we say this, that it's a shame on Nigerian government that Nigerian government will be shooting at its citizens for protesting and for demanding for good governance. And it is actually sad that Nigerian government is doing what they are doing at this particular point in time. Right there, they want to silence the voice of reasonability. They want to silence the voice of citizens, but we will say no to it and we will resist it.
Mr. Wala explained what led to the action of the security forces in Port Harcourt.
The same is that came and said that made a statement we should leave, that we have granted press, we have done enough procession, that we should go. We said no, that we have not even started what we had envisaged and to proceed, and we need to follow that particular route. He said no, that we must leave now, and we said no, we will not leave, that what we are doing is our civil right, and we have the permission of to even go ahead with what we are doing. The next thing they started doing, they started shooting tear gas canisters on us. Of course, it was a joint team from both the army, the police, the civil defense. They were all there. The next thing, the army started shooting sporadically on the air. Police started shooting tear gas canisters at us.
Now, yesterday, the Rivers State Police Command denied reports that it opened fire on protesters and used tear gas to disperse them around Abali Park at the Federal Secretariat Complex, Aba Road in Port Harcourt on Monday. Spokesperson of the command, Grace Iringikoko, in a statement said the reports are unfounded. SP Iringikoko said when the police received reports about the protest, officers were quickly deployed to the specified locations. She said when the The officers arrived. They observed a group of miscreants engaging in criminal act, including the theft of mobile phones and other valuables from unsuspecting members of the public. She said police operatives responded swiftly, dispersing the individuals. She said reports that police fired tear gas and shot at protesters are deliberate fabrications by mischief makers seeking to incite public anxiety and create unnecessary tensions within the state. She urged the public to disregard the report and remain assured of their safety. Now, security agents comprising the Army, Police, and the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps were deployed as protesters gathered at the Izzy Borough Park as part of a larger nationwide action. They marched to demand the repeal of the Cybercrime Act and protested the suspension of Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara. They waved placards with slogans such as "Stop the Repression" and "Let Us Breed." In the meantime, one of the protesters, Solomon Lenu, is calling on the international community to urgently sanction the Nigerian government for what he described as a violation of citizens' rights to protest. Lenu said the protesters are planning their next line of action, as the action of security agencies will not stop them from protesting today.
And all Nigerians and the people from the international community must join forces to condemn this action and begin to give sanctions to the presidents and the leaders of this country. Because as we speak right now, the president of Nigeria is in France. If there were no liberty in France, will he be able to be comfortable in that France where he is? And the world and Nigerians must all come together to condemn this. They have used their brute force to dispatch us today, but we are still going to continue. Then we'll reconvene again and continue to push this demand that all the right things be done. But we are coming back again. I will also communicate to the world.
He called on citizens to stand up against what he described as growing humiliation and the suspension of democratic institutions in the state.
And all Nigerians and the people from the international community must join forces to condemn this action and begin to give sanctions to the presidents and the leaders of this country. Because as we speak right now, the president of Nigeria is in France. If there were no liberty in France, will he be able to be comfortable in that France where he is? And the world and Nigerians must all come together to condemn this. They have used their brute force to dispatch us today, but we are still going to continue. Then we'll reconvene again and continue to push this demand that all the right things be done. But we are coming back again. I will also communicate to the world. There will never be a day when Nigeria.
The director of Amnesty International Nigeria, Issa Sanusi, says his group will document every action of the police and ensure that those found culpable face justice. Mr. Issa spoke with our correspondent.
We believe that we are going to document all these things, and all those injured will have to be compensated because the injuries were meted on them unlawfully and without the backing of the law. Therefore, they have to seek redress. We have to seek redress for them. The Nigerian security forces, especially the police, who behaved unlawfully and outside the rule of law, must be held to account for all the injuries and other damages on journalists and protesters as well in Port Harcourt.
The Amnesty boss described the action of the police against protesters and journalists in Rivers State as unlawful, illegal, and unacceptable.
What is happening in Port Harcourt is really unfortunate, unacceptable, unlawful, and illegal. The violence unleashed on protesters and journalists as well, unfortunately, is unacceptable and unlawful, and we condemn what is going on in Port Harcourt because people have the right to come out peacefully and demand change and express their opinions about how the government is working and how policies are affecting their lives. Therefore, the brutal show of force on protesters in Port Harcourt particularly must be investigated.
In other news, 4 people who were previously detained in connection with the fire incident at the Rivers State House of Assembly have raised fresh allegations claiming they are being pressured to alter their original statement to implicate the Chief of Staff to the suspended Governor of Rivers State, Edison Ehie. They are Chime Ezebalike, Kenneth Basa, Oladele Lukman, and Macpherson Olumini, who were in November last year acquitted of the charges after about 6 months in Kuje Correctional Facility. Speaking to journalists, Ezebalike said they were recently contacted by a prominent PDP leader in Obiakpo local government area to revise their narrative.
Upon further prodding, he order to implicate Right Honorable Edison Ehie as the sponsor or mastermind of the fire incident at the State House of Assembly complex as a follow-up to former head of service George Nweke's press briefing in Abuja. This has prompted us to speak out as we do not want to be part of any nefarious act, especially after the torture we faced.
Now, they said the request was linked to a wider political scheme allegedly aimed at corroborating claims made in a press briefing by former head of service George Nweke in Abuja. Still to come, Senator Ndume accuses President Tinubu of flouting federal character in appointment. Stay with us.
'25 NLNG Post-Primary Scholarship Scheme NLNG PPSS is on. 2025 NLNG PPSS is open to indigents of NLNG's host communities in Rivers State. To be eligible, an applicant must be a basic 6 pupil at a public primary school in Rivers State, not less than 10 years or more than 12 years at the time of application, and able to gain admission into any of these schools. Entries closes April 28, 2025. Hallel College, Boarding, Rupoko, Abek Secondary School, Woji, and Christy Toby Education Center, Iriebe. To
Rest of the news. Normalcy has returned to Woji Market, popularly known as Ahia Woji, in Woji Community, Obiakpo local government area, after tensions flared on Friday and Saturday. The unrest followed an incident involving a female food vendor and a male customer who reportedly bought food on credit. Trouble started when the vendor asked for her money, leading to a heated argument. The male customer, said to be a Muslim, accused the woman of blasphemy against Prophet Muhammad and raised an alarm. Eyewitnesses say some irate Muslim youth in the market quickly mobilized and stormed the scene, setting fire to the vendor's table, coolers, umbrellas, and other belongings. The traders who spoke with our correspondent said it took the combined effort of the police and some members of the Muslim community to rescue the woman from the angry mob. The traders added that the youth later attempted to resist police effort, but were repelled by security operatives from various divisions led by their divisional police officers, DPOs.
We didn't know, and some of their Muslim brothers tried to defend the woman. They said they must kill the woman.
The guys that they want to kill the woman, they have already destroyed the woman's food. The man came from the other side, said that the barrister should bring out the woman, that they are going to kill her. The Muslims now, they're not divided into two. The people that said they should not kill the woman, they are the one defending the woman. They now lock our shop, they now call Woji police station. Some of the policemen that came, they tried talking to them, they said no. Before you know, everywhere food outside the Woji DPO, they now came, pleading with them that allowed the government to take the case back. They did not agree. They said no, they are not going to, that kind of thing is not going to happen.
Our correspondent also caught up with a member of the Muslim community that insisted that the female food vendor will not return to the market.
the woman in do bad thing. So now people saying go kill her. So the leader why there for the market in government don't can carry the woman go. The woman no go stay for Port Harcourt though. I'm telling you true. Anywhere enter for Port Harcourt, the person will not see the thing don't happen. He no go live.
Spokesperson of the River State Police Command, Grace Iringekoko, is yet to speak on this. And now, troops of the 6th Division Nigeria Army have arrested 43 suspects and confiscated over 254,000 liters of stolen petroleum products across the Niger Delta region. In a statement by the Acting Deputy Director, Army Public Relations, Lieutenant Colonel Danjuma said the joint operations conducted between March 31st and April 6, 2025 across Rivers, Delta, Bayelsa, and Akwa Ibom State. He said in Rivers State, troops carried out raids in several oil theft-prone areas in the Andoni, Eleme, and Ahoda West local government areas. And now the suspended senator for Kogi Central, Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, has sued the senator and instituted a 5 billion naira defamation case against her colleague Onyekachi Nwebonyi for alleging that she had 6 children for different men. In the case filed through her team of lawyers led by a senior advocate of Nigeria, Mr. M.J. Numa, Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan described Nwebonyi's claim as false. Saying it was a deliberate attempt to tarnish her reputation, she told the High Court of the FCT that Senator Nwebonyi had severely injured her reputation, caused her considerable distress and embarrassment to her credibility and public perception. The senator representing Borno South, Ali Ndume, has kicked against lopsidedness in federal or political appointment by President Bola Tinubu. Speaking on Arise TV, the senator said, based on his observation, President Tinubu's appointment so far violated federal character and should be corrected. He said the president's appointment has favored one section or ethnic group, contrary to the dictates of the federal character guidelines. In business, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Wale Edu, said that the federal government will review the impact of the ongoing global tariff war on Nigeria. In entertainment, Nigerian rapper Odumodu Black has clarified that his choice to keep his children away from the media is not about hiding their existence, but to protect his children. And now to sports. Nigeria's celebrated chess champion Tunde Onakoya has shared a deeply emotional story about 2 brothers he adopted after their mother passed away, and how one of them has now become a chess champion in the United States.
And now, we'll bring you news from around the world.
The civil defense says Israeli forces have continued bombarding Gaza, killing at least 19 Palestinians since dawn across the enclave. Now, he said Ahmed Mansour, a journalist who suffered severe burns in Monday's Israeli attack on a media tent near Nasser Hospital in southern Gaza's Khan Yunis, has died of his wounds, taking the toll from that assault to at least 3. In the meantime, U.S. President Donald Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu have met at the White House and discussed countries that would be open to taking Palestinians forcibly displaced from Gaza.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
That's a wrap on the news this afternoon. Before we go, let's have a look at the major stories. Stakeholders have condemned police statement denying tear gas in Port Harcourt protesters. Amnesty International has promised to ensure justice for injured protesters, journalists in Port Harcourt. Senator Ali Ndume has accused President Tinubu of flouting federal character in his appointment. And now on the foreign scene, Civil Defense has accused Israeli forces of killing 19 amid continuous bombardment of Gaza. The news was edited by Onyeka Chinwosu. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808-721-7215. I'm Ifechukwu Moyele. Many thanks for listening.